My name is Eric. I'm a recovering addict. And tonight's topic is an introduction to NA. And our speakers will be Ms. Linda M. of Statesboro, Georgia.
Hi.
And Mr. Cliff P. from Stockbridge, Georgia. And without further ado, Ms. Linda M.
Hi, family. As you heard, my name is Linda. I'm a grateful recovering addict.
Hey, Linda.
I believe our topic is the introduction to NA. And just for the record, my clean date is 12/9/86. I have 29 years. And it has been quite a ride. And from what I have experienced, today's newcomers are very different. Okay, when I came in my personal story, I was in a treatment facility upstate New York, and they brought an NA meeting in. And the NA meeting that came in was banned at the time because they thought it was taking our focus away from our personal treatment. So after 13 months and getting kicked out, I was actually clean for 13 months. Still didn't realize I was clean. Okay, and got kicked out, stayed out for like a month because I was scared of me still. And I went into another treatment facility, but it was across the Triborough Bridge in Manhattan. I'm from the Bronx. Okay, born and raised all over New York, every street, every nook. Trust me, I know it. So I did another 17 months at this other long-term facility, and I eventually left because they wanted to take me back down to being a newcomer in that particular program. I did have meetings there in the second program that I was in, but it didn't get banned, and I actually heard the introduction. The introduction for me was who's an addict, and unfortunately I don't have that pamphlet. We have pamphlets. Okay, so I was able to snatch one of those. Triangle of self-obsession, self-acceptance, and they gave me a book. Okay, and considering I was in a program and I had a little bit of time, I actually read it. Okay, so before I could actually attend the meeting outside, I had already read and got familiar with what I thought was good reading. Okay, meanwhile, back to the addict. Coming in to Narcotics Anonymous from the very first meeting that I had, I realized that it was really hard to sit on my hands. Okay, as y'all know, when you first come in, it's very hard to learn the lesson and the skill of how to listen. Okay, so being introduced to Narcotics Anonymous in the way that I just told you, the first program, I had my questions. Okay, I knew I was still nervous. I knew I had a whole lot of behaviors that still got me in trouble. Okay, and sitting on my hands and reading over and over who's an addict. Okay, self-acceptance and triangle of self-obsession. It gave me the basis of my grounds as a newcomer and being introduced to Narcotics Anonymous. I knew it was something different. I knew it was better than anything I had, okay? And considering at a meeting on St. Mark's in Manhattan, my counselors that was in the programs was coming back. Not that I had any position to judge anything. All I know is I held on with everything I had because I hated me. Okay, my behaviors was beyond lunch material here. Okay, all out in the schoolyard, and back then you couldn't tell me that the behaviors was my problem. Okay, and so as a newcomer being introduced to Narcotics Anonymous, I was able to recognize, even through all my sickness, that it had something that I needed. It kept me clean. Okay, so like I said, it was a shaky introduction because they got kicked out of the first program. Okay, the second program, I was able to actually listen a little more, and I knew the sounds, okay, resonated in my brain afterwards. okay, that it was something I did not have. Especially when they tried to hug you and say they love you, and we ain't familiar with that. Okay, I thought hugs and I love you meant we can have sex. Okay, so being newly released for my own endeavors of bad behavior, I got kicked out of the first program for sexually acting out. The gentleman was supposed to go back to the Navy. He went out and killed himself. And that was the first sign that I played a part. My behavior played a part. Because I was the only chick that wasn't going to tell on me. Okay, he wanted to play with others and, Anyway, the point of the matter is the introduction to Narcotics Anonymous is truly an eye-opening experience. It can be. Okay, we may not know what we're hearing, but we know we need to shut up and listen. And they killed me at St. Mark's because they said, you must sit in the first row. Okay, and sitting in the first row, they eventually told me was the IC unit. And even today at 29, I sit in the front row because I'm still in the IC unit. Okay, and they so many things have come out since 1986. Lord have mercy. Ooh, I need the IC unit to hold me down. I need to be with the newcomers to make sure that I ain't in the back. Okay, going out the door. It's very important to me for me to understand that my behavior in Narcotics Anonymous, introducing the program to newcomers and understanding where I was, that's why I explained all that at that time. It took me having my kids, I placed my kids when I went in 86, and going back and forth, they was gonna keep them for another 5 years, and I ended up telling them basically I would lick the floor wherever they told me to. I don't want to get high. I don't want to use drugs, and I would like my kids back at some point, so they sent me to an outpatient program, best thing that ever happened to me. Okay, Cumberland outpatient program in Brooklyn. It was a pilot program for children and their parents. Okay, because it really gave me the opportunity to understand how my behavior affected my children, because I only thought it affected those that I had sex with, and my mom and them, and everybody else that I came in contact with. I had totally forgotten, because I was on drugs, it affected my kids. They watched every single minute. Okay, so I was begging for help when I came in. Okay, I was begging to do anything other than get high. I wanted to kill me, and I knew, just like drugs, I'd mess it up. Okay, I'd jump out the window and get broke up and still have to live with me. So I knew I needed to learn how to live with me. Okay, we have to understand, as Narcotics Anonymous, being introduced to a program like this, you don't have any of that in place. I didn't know those were my reasons. I discovered after being in Narcotics Anonymous that those were my reasons, okay, for coming in and for staying. They said any true addict, you can tell because they leave their claw prints on everything. Okay, so my claw print is from New York to California to Georgia. Okay, and I'm still holding on for dear life. Okay, every second is a good second for me as long as I don't use. Okay, some people do minutes, some people do days. I think I got today. I didn't use today. But for me, it had to be every second because I was really that sick. Okay, no one had, I had a pretty good mom, but she couldn't teach me the things that I wanted to teach me in the street. Okay, and I thought I professionalized, how we do, at things that wasn't good for me. Okay, when you get introduced to this program, you understand at some point, because I didn't realize I was clean till I had 5 years. That's how fast and how hard I was running for me. I ran like I did my drugs, and I had to have them every hour on the hour. So I chased my recovery the same way. It's very different when you go from your hometown in New York to California to Georgia. It's very different. This is what I have. I have Narcotics Anonymous anywhere in the world that I go. I have people that don't know me that will hug me and tell me they love me and hold me down if I need to. I've been blessed, okay, in that first program, just getting one meeting. That's all it took. Okay, I didn't have the answers. This had better solutions for me. Anyway, the journey itself, like I said, I didn't realize I was clean till I had 5 years. Okay, and I swear I was standing out there listening to Tracy Chapman, looking at this church with these 3 crosses, and it dawned on me, oh my God, I haven't got high. 5 years I'm running for me. I didn't want to die. Okay, I didn't think those 3 little people deserved to do this journey alone, because see, my mom and my sisters, all of them said, we don't have time to take care of your children. We have a life. And I wasn't mad at them, because God knows my 3 children didn't need that. Okay, they had their own ills, and I didn't even know it. Okay, I didn't even know it. Okay, from using to bad behavior and everything else. Okay, coming into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, St. Mark's saved me. I had my sponsees, my sponsor, all of our children. I had my brother with all his sponsees and sponsors and all their children. Mm-hmm. Okay, I really learned that men raise children too. Mm-hmm. They really do. And we rolled, and when we rolled 40 deep. All day, every day, all day, every day. When I realized that I had 12 years, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't know how to stop running from me until I learned to live with me. And this is all behind the introduction to Narcotics Anonymous. When I wasn't in school and I wasn't cooking and we wasn't having a meeting at my house, we was at a meeting. I didn't know how to live any other way. I didn't want to live any other way. I mean, we stepped over addicts, bodies, everything you can think of, going from the back of Brooklyn all through Manhattan, all through the Bronx and the 5 boroughs, all the way around. We made meetings, okay? We might have made 20 in a day. And if we didn't make one, we started one. Okay, and it's nice to go online and see those meetings still going. You know, the women's groups in California, you know, the one on the beach. I mean, I've had a whirlwind of living Narcotics Anonymous in these rooms. Okay, so I thank God for the introduction. And who's an addict? I'm an addict. Okay, I have an obsessive compulsive behavior that never leaves. It never leaves. Okay, 29 years seems like a lifetime and a lifetime. I had 2 sons and a daughter. My daughter's in the other room. Okay, she is 25 years, April 10th. Okay, my son said, my oldest son read the Bible and said, see, I'm an Israelite and it says that I'm supposed to smoke the burning bush. Okay, this is the same child while I was in the program they had in Kings County, giving him Thorazine and lithium and Milleril. And I said to myself, and my sponsor and the group, for months, excuse me, this is God's joke. I'm trying to get clean off drugs and they put my son on drugs. Okay, there's no situation in life that could give me a reason to use. None. Okay, I was my mother's CNA 4 years ago, you know, and watched her pass. Okay, we ain't even gonna talk about relationships. And it took me a long time. I must say this to my gentlemen and my ladies. I was incapable of loving someone because I didn't love me. And if it wasn't the spiritual principles of Narcotics Anonymous, I would have never thought that was a problem. You know, I swear, I thought men was to be used and abused and give me money. My father used to sit me on his lap. He left when I was 6. And he was 7 feet tall and his hands was like both my size. And I'd cry because I knew I did something. He would never scold me or anything like that. He'd just sit me on his knee, right? And I'd sit there and then he'd give me $50. As a little girl, 6. So I thought that's what y'all did. I was just crazy. You know, I didn't know y'all had emotions and stuff. You know, it took a program sitting in a room with 38 people discussing the same feelings about being raped and molested and tortured and stuff, men and women. Narcotics Anonymous, okay, was able to show me that everyone has feelings. Okay, they will pass, but men feel the way we feel. You know, I was horrified, terrified, and I said, if y'all can abuse me, then I might as well abuse me better. I remember, I swear to God, I think I was like 15, 16, saying that to myself. And I meant it with vigor. But the good thing is I didn't realize that I actually had determination until I got clean. After the 5 years that I was like, I haven't used. I remember I was in the program, the first program, and they took my teeth out. And I did have the shoe print on my chest. And they had me on liquid Valium. So I was on a 2-week bed rest. And I had a medical to go play and stuff anyway. But they told me I could actually be alone upstairs in this giant hotel by myself. So I was gonna walk from Ellenville, New York to Brooklyn and get high.
Wow.
Late at night, everybody sleep now. And I went to go downstairs, and like I said, it was a giant hotel with glass doors and stuff. And when I got almost to the bottom steps, there was a giant black bear standing up over the door. And I thought about it. Of course, I didn't know which way to go when I got out there, if I got out there. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go back upstairs. Now, the next day, I went and looked, and there was actual claw prints on the top of the door. So, coming from step one, where I know I'm totally unmanageable, okay, to my step two, where I come to believe. Now see, at 13, let me run you back. I know I'm all over the place, just bear with me. At 13, I left home to go down with a little run over shoes, a little red stocking, to the corner, to the church, because I needed to talk to God, because these people are crazy. Okay? And I got down there and they told me that I had to join and I had to do this and I had to do that. I came to talk to God. So I knew I had been looking for God all my life. You know, even after making them crazy decisions and being all determined about it. And Narcotics Anonymous, like I said, when I was introduced, I realized that it was something other than what I had came up with in my crazy brain. And it gave me the opportunity in step two to have a power greater than me. And for me, it was the one who raised the sun every day and made the trees and the dirt. You know, and the little piglets and the birds and stuff. Okay? But I was able to embrace that as my own. You know, so now I could talk to God. I was talking to him all the time, I just didn't know it. So now that we have been able to introduce ourselves to a power greater than ourselves and understand that that power could bring us to some sanity, I started living that.
Yes. Wow. Yes.
And in living that, I was able to understand that there's different perspectives and perceptions of everything. And maybe if I sit in the front row long enough, I could actually see it happen. And I have. Thank you so very much.
Oh,
Wow. Let me share.
Wow. Thanks for sharing.
Yes. Women do too. I'd like to thank Ms. Linda M. for sharing her message of wisdom, strength, and hope. And now, without further ado, I give you Cliff P.
What's up, family? My name is Cliff P. Hey, family. Man, it's good to be here, man. Thank you, young lady. I appreciate you and I love you. My clean date is 10/28/96. Thank God, man, for being here tonight. And I want to recognize my sponsor, man. I love you. Yeah, man, I love you, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Anita, I appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you, Dez. Baby, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you, Raheem. All of y'all been here before me. Y'all paved the way. You know what I mean? And I appreciate y'all, man. And I love y'all. You know what I mean? And the introduction to Narcotics Anonymous. I normally bring all my books, man, but Spirit just led me to just bring the Panther because it's in here. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna read this first page. It said, "This booklet is an introduction to the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. It is written for those men and women who like ourselves, suffer from a seemingly hopeless addiction to drugs. There is no cure for addiction, but recovery is possible by a program of simple spiritual principles. This booklet is not meant to be comprehensive, but it contains the essential that in our personal and groups experience we know to be necessary for recovery." And being introduced, man, to Narcotics Anonymous, man, it was real foreign to me. It was my first time around. Thank God for one white key tag, man. And so when I first got in my first group, man, they, people was going around the group saying, "My name Willie, I'm an addict. My name Mike, I'm an addict." And I said, when they got to me, I said, "My name Cliff." What? You know what I mean? I guess they were waiting for me to say, it took me a minute, man, to admit that, you know what I mean? Because they told me, man, where I was, it was a place to help me in my recovery, man. And so, I guess after that third time, man, they going back around, and they got back around to me. I said, my name is Cliff. They looking at me again. I said, "Man, I'm an addict." And they're like, yeah, man, and and it really, really made me feel a part of, man, because when I got there, man, it seemed like, man, all those burdens, right, it was lifted up off of my shoulders. I was free at last once again, man. I was sitting there, man, and then hearing these people sharing, man, they guts out, right? Because, when my mom's died, I had to get introduced to another side of life. You know what I mean, man? And I found her dead at the age of 7, and man, and I was real uncomfortable ever since then, until I came into Narcotics Anonymous. I mean, I was adopted through the families and, and all that, and I was always uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I found a way to cope with whatever or whoever I was around, family members or whatever in my life that was going on. I had to find a way to cope, and I just wasn't never, ever really me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And having issues, man, in my life, man, and not even knowing about life, man, and it was just like I was in a foreign world, man, and couldn't even speak English. You know what I mean? It was scary. But man, when I got here in '96, man, and I got, man, in that old building down there, man, on 20 Hilliard Street, William Home Borders Aftercare Treatment Center, man. Them people was in there loving on us, man. And I never knew that the guys that was working in there was addicts until I really just got to start doing one-on-ones with them, and they was really, man, introducing me, to the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You know, then they start talking about who is an addict, right? And then they start talking about what is a Narcotics Anonymous program, you know, and then they start talking about why are we here, how it works, you know, and then they start talking about what can I do, you know, and then they start talking about, you know, the 12 traditions, you know, and then they start talking about recovering relapse, you know, then they start talking about just for the day, you know, and then they start talking about, you know, the personal stories, you know, what really got me, you know, and then they start talking about we do recover, you know what I mean, and then they start talking about 1/3 of my life. You know, all those stories that was all up through the book, man. You know, and I was mostly a listener, you know, because my comprehensions it just wasn't that good, so I had to listen, and I just had to listen. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know, man, and but how I came to know, and they just told me, man, from moment to moment, you know, from second to second. And you know, and from all those seconds, you know, became minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, 19 years, and 3 months and some days. Come on, man. Who would have thought? Because you could have never told me that I would have made it this far, even after being introduced to Narcotics Anonymous. Because see, I didn't know what else to expect. You know what I mean? And man, and so when they started reading, man, and I wouldn't share because I was, you know, and the only thing that was coming up to make me share was about, you know, being molested. You know, and about just being hurt, man, all up through my family. You know what I mean? And because that's all I know to tell the people. Because I wasn't really into this. You know, I just knew I was free. I knew I was in the right place to tell the truth on clip. You know, and they just told me, they said, man, I said, well, man, what do I talk about? They said, man, just talk about you. They said, man, I guarantee you, you know more about yourself than you know about me. I said, okay. You know what I mean? That's all right. And you know, man, and I started saying, I said, God help me, man. You know, God help me. And then one of the stories that really got me, one of the chapters in the book was, what can I do? Chapter 5. You know, in the 5th edition, I think it started on page 51. You know, real deep chapter, man. You know what I mean? And you know, and it was just telling me about, you know, just to talk about me. And man, you know, and learning about who is an addict, you know, and learning about all my behaviors. See, that was the part right there once I got in there and I thought I was free, and then I wasn't gonna have no more problems. I was perfect. I found that to be a lie. Because man, all that stuff that came back up. You know, I didn't want to use no more. I know I wasn't gonna use no more crack. I knew that. That right there was over. So now I ain't have no other choice, man, but to learn about this new way of life, man. So what I started doing, I started following y'all. Man. And then, man, the first meeting, they called me up there to read, man. I said, man, I ain't finna come up there and do that shit, man. I ain't finna do that one. You know? Because, man, and the thing was, because, you know, I went all the way back to that little boy from having a speech impediment. I couldn't read. Man, I stuttered real bad, you know, and then I started thinking about, you know, I can remember over there at Country Square Apartments on Cascade Road where they first showed me how to smoke a pipe and how to freebase, right? Wow. So that's what came to my mind standing up there when they gave me just for the day to read when I was in Borders. You know, all they was doing was introducing me to Narcotics Anonymous. But man, I stood there, man, and man, I was reading, man, and I was skipping, and I was doing this here, and I was skipping, and the room was quiet just like this. Right? And then they had one guy in there that can quote all the literature. And as he quote, I read. You know what I'm saying? As he quote, I read. The, we. You know what I mean? We do. You call it, we call it. You know what I mean? So, you know, man. But now, whatever it took me, Calvin, to learn this new way of introducing me to Narcotics Anonymous, I did it.
That's right.
You know, I did it, man. And you talking about, man, the love, man, that I felt up in them. You know, the love, man, that this brother here showed to all of us in that house, man. And I know I got on his nerves. I know I got on his nerves. But you know, he understood by the Spirit what was going on with me. All of them did, man, and they would never, ever, man, turn me away, man. They said, man, we know you gonna stay clean. They said, because you asked a whole lot of damn questions. Yeah, man. Because you know, I didn't know about this, man. You know, I didn't even have a clue. You know, all I know that they told me that did work. They just told me to just buy into it, right? And it didn't cost me nothing but to become willing, man. You know, I said, okay. And man, you know, that's what I did. I became willing, man, to do the next necessary thing, man. And then, man, you know, like 3.5 months in, they made me the senior house man. I ain't have to pay no more rent. I'm talking about being introduced into some things, man. You know, I'm talking about learning about the French benefits of the program. You know, I'm talking about working for mine in the program. You know, not trying to get over. You know, and then, man, until we got into that first step, man. You know, because in the treatment centers they give you step 1, 2, 3. Step 1, 2, 3. Step 1, 2, 3. You know, and man, and I learned about honesty, hope, and faith, man. You know, I already had that application of who God was, because I learned about that, man, early on. So I was good with that, but I couldn't understand, man, why I was there, man. You know, and it was all fun, but man, when I laid my head on that bed and on that bunk at night, man, and everything else, I would like play back in my head about what was said in that day, so I can memorize it, because they're gonna ask me the next day, and my memory is short, even now. You know, but man, let me tell you something, man. I went for mine, man, for 365 days in that treatment center, man. You know, and when I got out of there, I immediately went into a book study with my sponsor, my grant sponsor, man. And I started learning about who Cliff really, really was. You know, start peeling them layers. You know, and start really being introduced, you know, and to the program of Narcotics Anonymous, man. And then people being in there. I think the most they might have had clean was like 6 years to 2 years clean. But these guys had some real sponsors. They was giving it to them, and man, they was coming down to William Home Borders, man, giving it to us, man. And man, out of all them guys that came in there with me, man, I was the only one left in there, you know, out of the crew that I came in there with. And and man, and I was willing, man, and you know, and I got a lot of things back, you know, being introduced, you know, to this new way of life, you know, I got family back, I got all that stuff back, man. But then, man, I had to start dealing with the behavior. I had a whole lot of behaviors, man, that I was still acting out on, you know, and I had a lot of setbacks, you know, it wasn't nothing what y'all had did, cause see, y'all had did what God called y'all to do, and that is to show me this way. Now it's up for me to keep going. You know what I mean? But man, I chose to just get back on that path, you know, of hustling and hoeing and you know, just doing all that stuff, man. You know, and I was doing a whole lot of meetings, neglecting the family, staying in recovery. You know, I was using NA as a scapegoat to get sex. Babe, I'm at a marathon meeting. Ain't that damn marathon meeting in this world? But I stayed in a marathon meeting. But that ain't what y'all introduced me to, man. Y'all introduced me to this new way of life. You know, and man, and as I was out there doing that stuff, I would think about this, Rashid. I would think about this, man, clean, and still couldn't stop. You know, I'm talking about being caught up in the grip, man, of a seemingly hopeless dilemma. Clean, man. And then I have to come back in here and tell y'all that, man, I can't even stay stopped, man. You know, that was the hardest thing for me to do, man. When I went through, man, about 4 book studies, still didn't stop. You know, and until I had to walk away. You know, I had to walk away, man, and I had to go back to the basics. You know, I had to go back to the basics, man, to who's an addict. And to really look in the mirror, man. You know what I'm saying, man? It's the clip, do you want to live or do you want to die? You know, and I was caught up, man, into my own device, man. You know, and man, you know, and I had to go to my sponsor, man, and really apologize to him, man, on how I used to act out in the book studies. You know, just because they wouldn't co-sign my stuff. You know, and you know, and I was facilitating the book studies. Come on, man. But telling the truth. Telling the truth. Everybody else was getting it. Everybody else was going out and getting high, but I was doing the other dope. You know what I mean? And man, and I just got honest, man. I got honest, man, and you know, and I've been 3 years. I've been 3 years, man, clean on walking the truth, man. Walking the truth. Because if you come up to me, man, that's what you're gonna get now. You know, it ain't about I'm gonna show you how to go get you some ass. You ain't finna come up on me talking about I'm hitting girl over here and my wife at home tripping. Cause see, now I'm finna give you what God give me now. You know what I mean? Because it ain't one of them left in me, man, to do that. You know, I walked away from a family just to get my personal peace. Cause I had to get me back again, all over again. You know what I'm saying? And I had to reintroduce myself the right way, you know, and man, I did not have a problem doing it, you know, because the thing is that I went to God and I said, God, you know, man, forgive me, because, you know, I wronged you, man, for about 15 years. You know, I ain't did no dope, but I done did some dope. You know what I mean? And you know, man, and I wasn't feeling bad about myself, but I know I was ready. You know, and I had left. You know, and I was just by myself and God, man. And I was all right with it, but I was feeling the pain. I was feeling the pain, man. And you know, man, and man, God sent me a beautiful wife, man. Again, man. You know what I mean? Somebody I didn't have to go looking for.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about when you do the right thing for the right reasons, this is what happened. The benefits never stop coming. You know, I just stopped doing. The benefits were sitting right there, and God's like, hey man, the table laid out for you. You know, here we go, right here, Cliff. All you got to do is surrender and do my will. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, and on the second day when I surrendered, man, all them females that I used to hit and all the guys that I used to hustle with, man, the phone was blowing up, man. But I can honestly tell them, like, look, man, I'm out the game. I done hung my gloves up, man. The fight is over. You know? It's time for me to do something different.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And man, today, man, you know, man, my wife, man, she my best friend.
That's right.
You know, man, she my lover. You know, what y'all see out here with me and her, we do this at home. So we don't get home. She sleep in one room, I'm in the other room. No, man. And I've been a blended family person all my life. So being with a blended family wasn't nothing new to me. But I had to be reintroduced just to the kids. She had to be introduced to my kids. And man, everybody, love everybody. You know, just coming from this, you know, I use this, man, you know, against my kids. Because it works. You know, me and my wife, man, we partners in crime, man. You know, we serve, man, in the ministry. You know, man, God has elevated me, man, so fast till this. A lot of people say it's scary. It ain't scary, man. This is just a journey, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And man, this is so beautiful, man. You know, man, and I love the other married men that's in my life. You know what I'm saying, man? Cause man, y'all guys help me. Y'all know who you is. Y'all help me, man. You know, when y'all don't even know it. You know what I mean? Cause this is the program, man. You know, I hear y'all and I listen to y'all, man. You know, I listen to my wife, man. You know, and it's about, you know, me and her making godly decisions together. You know, I ain't walking around here and y'all thinking me and my wife shining. No, we ain't shining, man. We just doing God's will, man. Don't hate, man. Jump in with me. I'm gonna show you how it works. You know what I mean? Because it works. It works when I work it. You know what I mean, man? And you know, I got a lot of sponsees going through right now, man. And I want to intervene bad, man. But I know one thing, man, that my sponsor told me, man. He said, man, you just got to stay doing you. He said, if they want what you had offered, they'll call you to it.
That's right.
He said, leave them alone.
That's right. That's right.
You know, my big brother Leonard said, leave their ass alone. You know, yeah, man. Because early in sponsorship, you know, I was a caretaker. You know, I would give it to them, man. I would give them this, but man, they would go back out. Man, I would go, man, look, man, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. I said, man, listen, man, they gonna mess around, man, and have you smoking, man, for you can get them clean, boy. you know, last time nigga, you ain't exempt. You know what I'm saying? So man, now, you know, I back up and I do God's will, and I'm being raised, man, by God, man, with me and my wife, man. You know, man, and you know, we do a lot of service work, you know, together. You know, man, we got some things going on, even in the ministry in the church, man. And I man, you could have never told me that, man, that people would be coming at me, man, for some of this. You know what I mean? Because it's real, man.
Yep.
It's so beautiful. You know, I ain't got to run no more. All I got to do is wake up, man, and just do God's will in the day, you know what I mean? And just thank God for the day. Man, mainly, and thank God, man, for Narcotics Anonymous. You know, because see, I ain't got to do 7 meetings a week no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I got a life outside recovery. You know what I mean? Because see, this right here built me for that. You know, but when I need a meeting, I go to a meeting. You know, me and my wife, we does meetings together.
We does them, baby.
You know what I mean? You know, kind of country, I talk like that. You know, but I'm gonna tell you, man, however I got to say it, or however I got to do it, I'm gonna put it out there. You know, I ain't the guy with the big long words, because if you come at me with one, I'm gonna tell you this, shouting it up. Because I don't understand. See, I can read this today, but you come to me with all that.
That's right.
No, man, I can't understand that. You got to come to me, man, with the basics, man. Because I'm a basic brother. You know what I mean? But man, just being introduced, man, to Narcotics Anonymous, man, have really afforded me a life worth living. I have a lot of friends in here. I have a lot of people that I associate with, mostly on the phone. You know, I don't see everybody all the time, and it's okay. I'm getting to know my beautiful wife. You know, and I love my wife, man. That's my girl. That's my girl, man. You couldn't have never told me. You couldn't have never told me, bro, that I would be deserving like that, man. Because you know why, Rashid? I stopped doing the dirty work. I'm doing the good work, man. You know what I mean? I'm doing the good work. So you know what I'm saying? Everything that I have today, man, I earn it. I earn it, man. You know, and you know, and my wife, she tells me, she said, you just don't listen to me. I said, yes, I do. I listen to you. You know, when you just don't think I'm listening, I listen to you because I need her. You know what I'm saying, man? But man, and this been a real good meeting, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know how much time we left, but he said we can open up the floor. But I'm gonna let him do that. But I'd like to thank, man, everybody that came out to hear me and my sister relate the message of hope. And I love you. Thank you for letting me share.
Man. Thank God. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it.
Let's give both our speakers another round of applause, please. And yes, we do have time left. So if anyone would love to share,
She raised that on you first.
you had to come up here.
My lady. Yeah. He said when you speak, you got to come up front and speak.
Record.
Remember your numbers.
About 30.
2.
Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right here.
I know. I got you. Her, then him, then you. Go ahead. You gotta hear. Get a chair for him, please. Just sit a chair right here. Yeah, that'd be fine. Thank you, sir.
Hey family, I'm Janisha, I'm an addict.
Hey, Janisha.
Thank you for your service. It's a good day to be clean. I'm glad to be here at this convention. I was just thinking about like my introduction to Narcotics Anonymous, and for me it was when I was a child. I'm an NA baby. And like last night, one of the topics was young and clean. And I was thinking about like, you know, how come I didn't get it as a child? You know, I sat in the meetings and I just sat in the back playing, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like as a kid, if I'm here, I might as well be a part of, you know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't I get it then? Why did I have to go out and get my own experience? So, and I still go through that, like, why do I have to be an addict, you know? why do my parents have to be at? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we just have a sip like regular folk? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, my introduction to Narcotics Anonymous, since I've been here on my own, it's been, we love you, keep coming, baby. Don't go nowhere. You don't gotta, you know, it's been a lot of love, and I really need that. I really do, because sometimes I don't feel it. I remember I was at a convention, I think it might have been Magna, and I felt alone. And in a hotel full of people, you know what I'm saying, full of family, I felt alone, and I didn't understand that. And instead of staying in that, I was able to get out of myself and realize. And somebody came to me and told me, "This is not just for you. You got to give back what's freely given to you." You know what I'm saying? It's somebody here, and it's girls here that I've met since being here. That's like 14, 17, 18. I'm like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm looking at them, and they looking at me, they like, wow, you here? And I'm like, you here? You know, and it's just like awesome. You know what I'm saying? So my introduction to Narcotics Anonymous so far has been like an awesome experience. It's don't go nowhere. You know you belong here. I am an addict. You know what I'm saying? And in order to keep what I have to give it back. That's all I got. Thanks for letting me share.
I'm an addict called the sheet. Love and respect everybody. I truly mean that. I just met the brother about a year ago, man, and it just seemed like when we are a family, man. We got a big ass family.
Yes.
You know what I mean? One person sharing, man. I look around the room, man. I knew the people that was gonna be here, man, to support him, man. And that's like, you know, last week I was somewhere, and you know, all the people that be there we support each other, man. And I ain't no punk or nothing. Yes, I am.
I love you. That's right.
I don't like crying.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But when you see, you know what I mean? I watched this girl come in here, man. When you see people like that, man, come up here and get butt naked, you know what I mean? And like go inside. Because that's what we recover from, y'all, inside.
Yes.
All y'all think y'all doing that outside shit, man, it's called the mask. Somewhere in the book you talk about the mask must go. And if you don't, when I came around, they used to say fake it till you make it. And then at the end, you ain't do nothing but fake the whole fucking way. You know what I mean? So I wasn't faking it. I came in here, man, and let y'all know exactly who I was. That I wasn't scared, but I really was scared.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm coming up on 26 years, man.
Oh,
That ain't my doing. That ain't my doing. That God's doing everything here. And I was talking to my wife today, man. I was like, yeah, I got the second best, but you know, what we got. We all got. Yeah, and I was talking to my wife today, right? And I said, babe, I was crying over the TV last night because of a situation, you know, and that's the man that came out of me, you know what I mean? Because we emotional creatures also. Just like y'all, I ain't afraid to admit it, you know what I mean? And when we do go inside, deep inside, and we realize recognition is a big thing too, you know what I mean? You gotta come to a realization, it's in the book, for yourself. And once I realized that I'm an emotional creature, man, and the situation was this little girl was running from these three guys, and they were trying to kill her. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this program by myself, and I'm like, are they gonna kill her? And at the end, man, they killed this guy, and the little girl was able to get her freedom because that's all she wanted was to stop running.
wow.
And the same way I was when I came to this program, I just wanted to stop running.
Yes. Yes.
And when I finally slowed down and looked back and found out that nobody wasn't fucking chasing me,
Come on. Isn't that something?
shit, I can start fucking running. But here's the moral of the story, y'all. Excuse me. You know how the dog be chasing his tail? When did that fucker stop? When he bite down on it.
There it is.
I'm grateful for coming out. Named Alex.
Hey. Yeah.
No, Alex. Introduction for me changed my whole complete life.
Yes.
In the beginning, well, I was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I had hit rock bottom in my life many times, but that time was God telling me, you gonna die.
Yep.
And he was telling me, I don't think it's gonna be a drug, it's gonna be a lifestyle because you weren't the biggest, baddest man you think you really are. So I was like, all right, cool. I didn't know what to do, and I think it was like 2 days. I heard his voice, and he's like, where you at? So I went to St. Jude. I stayed in a dope house the night before, didn't do no dope. And people that I was with cared about me, and they knew what I was wanting to do. They were high as hell.
Right.
They wouldn't even do it in the room because they had that much respect for me.
Wow.
You know, I had a lot of respect in the street, but that shit don't mean nothing to me. You know, it really don't. What it means to me is trying to help these fools now, you know? Because I look at it as I was a fool. Because I didn't know what else better to do. 23 years of drugs, alcohol, organized crime, you name it, whatever.
Right.
But the thing is that I was brought up in a Christian family, so I had a conscience. A lot of times I'd have to wake up with a hangover or 2-3 days of being high and going to bed and wake up and be like, you know, what are you doing? Going to prison. You know, I'm 40 years old. I've done about 10 years altogether, 3 in prison, so that shit ain't no fun. But the introduction for me is the hope, changed my life. I've almost got a year. I'm coming in a little over 2 months. I got a year. But as an addict, I want this shit now that ain't long enough for me. But I keep pushing, you know what I mean? I want 19 years, huh? But I'm gonna get it if I'm still alive.
That's right.
Because it's God's will to keep me alive. But I do not have a desire to use, drink, or nothing. I've got friends that's been clean for a while and they'll go back out. I'm not people that's got 6-7 years and they go back out and they ask me, why do you not have a desire? I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I hear somebody that talk to me that had beer on the breath and it makes me sick. You know, my cousin just died 2 weeks ago, drank herself to death. You know, my grandmother drank herself to death. You know, it's in the family. I'm the only drug addict, my cousin, but you know, I'm just tired of it. I want to do something, you know, and I've got an opportunity. God just opened the door. I'm moving to Statesboro Monday, and everything that I've ever done,
Isn't that something?
you know, I ain't never had a job opportunity like this with 6 felonies on my record. You know what I mean? Most of them are violent. You know, so this shit really works. But I ask myself and I tell other people, you know, how bad do you want it? So, you know, I'm trying to learn how to be sensitive, and it's a hard thing for me. You know what I mean? I appreciate what you said, brother, because I need that shit. I really do. And yeah, it's gonna come. You know, I'm just waiting for the tears to drop. And it's been so long. I don't remember the last time I cried. But that don't matter. It's gonna come. The God of my understanding is gonna bring me to that.
Yes.
You know, and that mask came off too, not too long ago. You know, I'm just very grateful. That's the first thing I say. I'm grateful recovering at it because I just want to live. And now it's time for me to give back. Help these kids that live that life that I live. You know what I mean? This is my first convention here for NA. But I remember I was like 90 days clean and went to the A International. It was the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed in my life. You know? But A doesn't really work for me as good as NA because I can't relate and they can't relate to me in my life. They really can't. Because I'm on the corner selling dope and then going to this corner getting the other dope that I wanted or whatever. You know, carrying guns, doing stupid shit, and they just want to get drunk and get DUIs. But it's all good. I ain't judging nobody, but it's I can't relate as much. But I'm glad I'm here. I love you, Cliff. I love you, Mom. That's all I got.
All right.
Hello, my name is Charles. I'm Addict. And I am so glad that I found him.
think you all were saying the introduction.
Right.
When I came in, the introduction to me was to let me know that I was suffering from a disease. That's the thing that made the difference for me. Before I found NA, I was contemplating daily when to kill myself. That's how painful my life was. I didn't know what to do to stop it. I didn't even know how to stop using. Finding NA and finding out I had a disease, and understanding that I'm not cursed, that I'm not better off dead, and I do matter, you know, but I just have to learn how to live.
Right.
I have to learn, and I'm still having to work daily on learning how to get past my own self-will.